Good morning. I have something to tell you after 8 days of fasting. Today is the 8th day. That the biggest time waster in our life is, guess what? Food. Yes, it is food. Why? Because there has been something happening in the last 8 days. I noticed that there is so much free time. Where did it all come from? If you're a lady, you can relate to this easier than a guy. If you're a traditional lady who cooks at home, how much time do you spend on each meal? The time you spend eating, the time you spend traveling to and from the supermarket, the time you spent walking around the supermarket, and you thought, well, you need to get something else from another grocery store, which is taking you another half an hour to get to, walk around that grocery store, come back, drive back, stuck in traffic, came home, and then you're going to think about what you're going to make. Then you keep yourself busy looking for a recipe on the internet, perhaps. How much time does that take up? How much time do we take thinking about which restaurant we're going to go for lunch, which restaurant we're going to go for dinner, where we're going to meet our friends, and what we're going to cook for our guests? The cooking, the washing up, the eating itself, and the shopping. It's all about food. How much time do we spend on food and getting ourselves to the place where the food is, eating it, and then, excreting it as well. And yeah, when you don't eat, you don't go to the toilet as much. This is another time saver. So, what is the conclusion? Stop eating. Okay, well, I'm not advising you to stop eating, but this is the oxygen mask. We need to eat, we need to sleep. But when we sleep, we don't think about, oh, let me indulge in sleep, let me oversleep again, let's sleep with friends, let's sleep here and there. We think, okay, I need to sleep, this is about it. I'm going to put myself to bed and then set an alarm and wake up. What happens on autopilot? We don't really think about how we're going to sleep and what it will feel like, but we do think about food a lot. This is the attachment to food, the attachment to that taste, the sweet, the sour, the spicy, the taste of Thai food, the taste of Indian food, that craving for curry, the craving for this and this, cheese fondue and whatever else. Too much. Simplify your life, and by simplifying your life in the way of food and eating simpler, you will realize that there is so much free time. People who do cook, what it takes to make a good meal, to make a meal that you can be proud of. First, it's overly complicated and overcooked most of the time. You need to boil this first, then fry it, then bake it, and so on, then put some sauce on it, then prepare the sauce by mixing this and this in the blender, and then boiling the sauce and whatever else. And I'm not a cook, and you can tell from this sort of talk, but all these steps that can be avoided, thinking this thing could have just been eaten raw. Okay, it wouldn't have tasted as nice, but so much more enzyme and vitamins, and would have been good for everybody, and I wouldn't have wasted 2 hours on making it taste good and killing all the enzymes and vitamins in it. So I'm calling for simplification here. Simplification of what we eat and how we eat it, where we get it, and how we cook it. Step 1, what do we eat? The less cooked, the better. With things like potatoes, or pasta, or rice. It's still the same. Slightly undercooked potatoes. They taste better, crunchier, and have more in them. And undercooked vegetables are lovely too. Better than overcooked baked potatoes, when it's like, hello, there's no value left in you, poor thing, but you taste good with bacon, cheese, and sour cream on top. Like, oh, Sure, it's still a vegetable, but where is the vegetable value in it? Now, the shopping, when it comes to shopping, we all know that you can't get everything in one place. You have to go there, you have to go to the market, but they don't sell sauce at the market, so you have to go to the supermarket and so on. And this store has a good organic herbs, whatever you need to get, or lemons, and there you have beetroot that you can't get anywhere else. At least here it's like this. And kimchi, well, you want organic kimchi without preservatives, so you go in there and then back there, and all the driving around, traffic and so on. If you can shop in one place, it will save you a lot of time. But shopping in one place will also require sacrifices on taste. And I think, and I'm totally sure about this, that sacrifice on taste is a good sacrifice. Why? The less taste, the less attachment to food you have. It's like that with drugs. You see, the emotion is so strong that you want to repeat it over and over again. You'd get addicted to it. The same with taste, the sweet taste. We are addicted to sugar. We are addicted to that strong taste that we could have tasted in some restaurant because they use MSG, perhaps, right? And we keep on going and going there and say, well, the chef is so good, it tastes fantastic. But the food is not really supposed to taste fantastic. The food is supposed to taste natural and a little bit plain, so that we do not get attached to it and don't overeat. Things like pizza, let's say with the thick cheese crust, it has the strong taste of burnt fat, and this is what it is. That's why you get attached to it. You have more than you really need, which is more than one piece. Because we need very little to sustain life. We think that we need a lot more, but hey, look at this girl. She has not eaten for 8 days, and she is still alive, and she did 2 hours of yoga this morning and is about to leave the house and go visit 3 different friends in different places, and then stop by the market to get some lime for the water on the way back. So there's a lot of activity. It's not that I'm sitting at home and saving energy. No, there's a lot of moving, a lot of conversation with people, a lot of running around, and it has been like that for the past week. Actually, I have been more active than ever because I didn't have to get back home to make a meal or go to a restaurant to sit down and order a meal. Because all that time suddenly came available. So if I did not die without food and did not lose a single kilo after 8 days of fasting, then what would happen to you if you ate only 1 piece of pizza and not 3? Would you die? Would you not be able to work? No, my activity is the same as your activity, most likely, or about the same. I leave the home in the morning and I come back home before sleep, so about 9 p.m., 9 p.m. And in between that, there's a lot of running around and doing this and this. So maybe this is something to think about. That are we really attached to the taste? Are we attached to the food? Are we attached to indulgence in food? Do we spend too much time thinking about food? And what could that time be spent on? Growing? Something about growth and food. Once you let go of the attachment to food, you find the time, you also feel a lot purer because you're not sleepy after lunch. You don't really need that time to sit back and relax to digest the food when your brain goes numb for like half an hour or an hour with the stomach full, and you kind of like in a slug mood, like, yeah, I'm full, I'm happy, yeah, smiling. The atmosphere in the office, remember the times back in the office when people would come back from lunch, it's very different from the morning. In the morning everybody's so active and agile and happy and trying to do something much more productive, and then after lunch people come back and say, put the hand on the mouse, but it looks like the person is really not there to work. You can see that the brain is forcing itself to work, and that people energy levels go like this in the morning and like this in the afternoon, pretty much, and they get tired easily. When you don't eat, when you only get the nutrients that your body needs in some juice, like a shot of juice and coconut water, you get what you need, but you don't get over that limit of having too much, so that it drags you back into the whole slug sleepy mood. This is it from me today. Just a little idea on how an attachment to food that we don't notice can steal a lot of our lifetime, and say, but we enjoy it, but we like it. I enjoy having a good meal and a glass of wine with my friends, and yeah, it's all about enjoyment. It's sitcoms are there to enjoy too, and meals are, and movies, and watching sports games, and a lot of things are there to enjoy. You might not call it a waste of time, you might call it very productive time. It's a good time to relax from working, and then work to get tired, to relax like that. And this might be the purpose of life, walking in a circle around the boat. But if your purpose of life is slightly different, then you might relate to what I just said about attachments. And letting go of any attachment is a small victory, which I hope I can achieve by the end of next month, August. Still July, isn't it? Yeah. See you tomorrow. Thank you.